it asks for it. I actually met Bill King on occasion, and he reads my strip every day and writes me occasionally about it and gets it. He and I did a jam together. We did a series of strips together in the mid-90s, which were in one of my Zippy quarterlies. Yes.
What are your politics?
I don't know. I'm a humanist, I guess. I'm not. I used to think I might be a socialist years and years ago, but I don't think I'm any kind of an ist anymore. I'm basically a satirist. You know, I love it when we have great targets like George Bush or Ronald Reagan. So I have a very two-edged feeling towards the kind of things that, you know, the Griffey in me rails against, but the Zippy in me loves to see, which is surrealism and absurdity in high places. So, I mean, my job is basically to say the emperor has no clothes. That's the job of every satirist. And to be an equal opportunity offender. I tried to spread my occasional political jibes to the left as well as the right. I did a lot of stuff about Clinton during his years. And, you know, I vote Democratic, I'm a liberal. You know, what can I say? I'm with Garrison Keillor or somebody. Yeah.
Have you had more recent flirtations with movie deals or television shows than you mentioned in your slideshow? Because I read your strip every day, and my recollection is that at least about once a year, maybe a little more frequently, you have some strip about, you know, oh, if only the deal had worked out, you know, and so on and so on.
Yeah, yeah, it never quite goes away. Right now, Cartoon Network is supposedly interested in something. What I do with these feelers is I encourage them just a little because I sense material. I don't encourage them enough to be excited about it, because what they want you to do is to get excited. Like, the reason there was a Pee Wee Herman movie is because Paul Rubens is Pee Wee Herman. He walked into a meeting in the Pee Wee costume and sold the idea. I can't do that. I can't put a Zippy costume on and this is as you know, public as I get. And so every time we would get to that point of the meeting, things would start to fizzle. I remember at a meeting at Disney Studios once, they had the script on the table. I couldn't believe they actually requested a meeting with me and the producer and the other people. And we're sitting there at the meeting, and this guy in a suit says, "We like Zippy. We love the script. No problem." I mean, he was basically saying no rewrites to this ridiculous script that I wrote. And I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. He said, "We got one problem, the stubble." Can we get rid of the stubble? We're concerned it might frighten small children. They said, completely upfront, the reason they said, we were there with the producer of the first Pee Wee. They said, "We regret passing on Pee Wee." This was before the scandal. And we don't want to do that again with Zippy. But we really see the money in the movie coming from the rides and the theme parks. So can we get rid of the stuff? My response was to do a strip where Zippy is in a giant walk-around head with huge stubble, frightening all the middle-class tourists.
You mentioned writing into trouble against Big Boy and Hello Kitty over anything that's said. Have there been any particular themes in Zippy that have especially upset newspapers that caused them to drop you?
No. Have I ever been dropped? I don't think so. What happens occasionally, I would say maybe half a dozen times a year, is I get a call from my syndicate, from the editor, and he will say something like, "Are you sure you want to do this? You'll probably lose Kansas City." And 9 times out of 10 I say, "Yes, I am sure I want to use it." And he says, "Okay." Once in a while, it actually just happened about a month ago, this is very odd. I've used lyrics in strips a number of times. never had a problem. I know there's some kind of ASCAP rule about how much you can quote the lyric without having to pay or get permission. And I've done it many times, and no problem. But I had Zippy talking to a giant head statue somewhere, and the lyrics coming from the giant's head are all from Ain't Misbehaving by Fats Waller. King Feature said I couldn't do it. They looked into it, and it would require 8 different permissions. So I said, okay, I'll change the strip. I remember also about 10 years ago, I did a strip in which Zippy walks into a McDonald's. And at that point, McDonald's was posting the ingredients to a Big Mac at the entrance to their stores. Zippy peels it off the wall and walks up to the counter and recites it like a poem. And they said, we would be sued if you did that. And I said, yeah, but it's really the ingredients. McDonald's is very litigious. That was the one time they stopped. That was it.
Mr. Griffith was a great lecture. Love your work.
Thanks.
What are the syndicates looking for? What's a good way to present your work to send it to them that would, because I know there's a lot of people that submit work each year. Do you have any tips that could get there?
As I delineated in my talk, that isn't how I approached the daily strip. I didn't go through that process, but I'm pretty familiar with it. They want 6 weeks worth of strips, so that's 36 strips. They don't want to see any Sundays. They want 6 weeks of dailies, in continue, one after the, as if they were published. That's what they want to look at. But be warned. King Features, for example, gets approximately 6,000 of those packages a year. They pick 30 and they launch 6. So, and you think with newspapers, dying all over the place and shrinking, that this would have stopped, but it hasn't. The same numbers are true this year as they were 10 years ago. As far as content goes, I can't, there's no way for me to tell you that, but what they do is, if they like your stuff, the next stage is a development stage. Nothing I have to do, I can go through this, where they have you on salary, pretending to do your daily strip for a full year. And at the end of that period, if it looks like you can do it, and if they really like what you're doing, then you become one of the 6 that they launched that year. Oh, it's tough. Stuff that you should try anyway.
What exactly does King Features do? Are there other similar?
King Features and the other half dozen comic syndicates do what they've always done. Now they do it digitally instead of through the mails. They get my strips every week, once a week, and they disseminate them to the papers. And even more importantly, they have a sales force that goes out and sells them to the papers. They take a percentage. At the beginning, it's 50-50, and as you do better over the years, it goes more in your favor. I remember, I forget who does, Calvin and Hobbes, but Calvin and Hobbes did so well so quickly that within a few years, the ratio was 95 to 5. And they actually were losing money on Calvin and Hobbes. And the way they make up money on a big success like that is merchandising. But Bill Larson refused to sign any merchandising deals. And I think that may be a good part of the reason why Calvin and Hobbes stopped. He says he just decided that was it, but I think economically he was actually forced out. Because he was so successful. So they make money out of the strips and they make money out of merchandising. Right there.
You said, I think, that Zippy is running about 200 newspapers?
Yeah, including weeklies.
And how many of those